Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and in this video we're going to be looking through what is available of Sigma's voice lines and interactions so far. Now Sigma has just released, as of the making of this video, on the Overwatch Live service as well as the Overwatch Role Queue beta update. Now Sigma's interactions are part in the game, the responses are not there just yet, so I'm going to share the interactions we have so far, the pre-game voice interactions and more, as well as some cool voice lines too. Timecodes are in the description if you want to skip. Firstly, interactions between heroes, or what should be interactions between heroes. Sigma and Winston. Now the two have a few things in common, and it's very interesting to hear Sigma talk to Winston, I presume, about whether he misses the moon and space.
Do you ever miss it? Being out in space? Do you ever miss it? The moon?
Although, of course, one of those could actually be to Hammond as well, now I think about it. When Sigma was released, we saw in his bio that he was actually performing the most important experiment that he was trying to do on a black hole on an international space station. Now, before he released, there was speculation as to whether this was Horizon or not. There is a voice line which I presume is between Sigma and Winston, replying to Winston here, that seems to confirm that Sigma must have been to Horizon, even if he didn't conduct that experiment there.
He was a good friend. And you were much smaller back then.
So it seems that Sigma knew baby Winston, and if he did, maybe he saw Hammond perhaps on Horizon, and a good friend of Dr. Winston. Interesting paths to be explored there, and I wonder what Winston will say. Now, as Talon's resident scientist, perhaps before Sigma joined, of course Sigma was going to have some interactions with Moira, and there's an interesting one here. I wonder what has gone missing. Is Moira hiding something from him, perhaps for his own good, or otherwise?
Dr. O'Dearn, the main components have gone missing. Do you know where they might be?
Remember that Sigma has been described as being held sort of against his will or without his knowledge, as it were, so the plot thickens there. Now, while we're on the subject of other doctors apart from O'Dearn, we do have Dr. Zhao as well, and Sigma is quite interested, or has been interested, in May's work.
Dr. Zhao, I've read your work. It's brilliant.
I can imagine May sharing some kind of blushing, humble response there, can't you? Now, a couple of ones here about Sigma's interest in various people's kind of conditions, as it were. Now, these could be interchangeable as to whether he feels that Tracer or Reaper shouldn't be cured, or whether he'd like to study one or particular of their conditions. So I think these could be either Tracer or Reaper. See what you think.
I would like to study the peculiarities of your condition. Perhaps we could find a way to stabilize them. You are an anomaly with immeasurable potential. What is there to cure?
So it will be fascinating to hear what responses which characters give to those. And obviously with Zarya having a Tobalstein reactor as part of her weapon, Sigma is very, very interested in her mastery and similar of gravity. So here's a couple of lines. One I think is just a general discussion, maybe an interaction line. The other two are kill lines, where he sees Zarya make a kill on his team or when he kills Zarya.
You are a very strong woman. But gravity is stronger. The Tobalstein reactor in action! Yes, more! The Tobalstein's work remains flawed. Tragic.
Now, here are a few lines that I call orphan lines. They're clearly some of them pre-game interactions, others of them are just cool interactions, maybe kill lines and similar. I love this first one. Who is Sigma asking out, or who is he seen at Luna's cabaret? The plot thickens.
I saw you at Luna's cabaret the other evening. Would you care to go together sometime?
And here are some more orphaned interaction lines. If you like this kind of thing, throw a subscribe, check out my playlist with all Overwatch voice lines and interactions as well as their lore learnings below. Do let me know who you think some of these might be too, and from in the comments below as well.
Possibly. All things are potentially possible, with enough time. I think so. Oh, apologies. That's your job, isn't it? States of being are interchangeable. Time is an illusion. Apologies, I wouldn't wish to intrude. Double, triple, quadruple check your math. We need a moment to ensure all our equations are correct. Always nice to see a colleague at work.
Now, an interesting one here referencing Dr. Winston again.
Give Dr. Winston my regards.
That's a kill line, I believe, when Sigma kills Winston, not a reference to Dr. Winston or anything still being alive. Now, much like D.Va's defense matrix lines, when Sigma removes an ult, then he says various things depending on the various heroes whose ults he removes. So have a listen to these, do let me know if I've missed any out, and guess which heroes are which.
The dragon has been consumed. Draw. I felt a chill. Justice has embraced me. Not fast enough. Gravity is shackled. I have harnessed the harness.
Well, those were Hanzo, McCree, May, Farah, Tracer, and a couple of different ones, I believe, for Zarya. Okay, map interaction time. Now, Sigma, if Horizon wasn't the site of his experiment, if it wasn't the International Space Station he was on, then he certainly visited it, has a couple of interesting interactions on Horizon, with the long telescope lines that heroes often get on the colony.
Beyond the edge of the world, there's a space where emptiness and substance neatly overlap, where past and future form a continuous, endless loop, and hovering about, there are signs no one has ever read, chords no one has ever heard.
Now, that is a quote from Haruki Murakami. The book Kafka on the Shore was a 2002 novel by the author, and the English translation in the mid-2000s was among the 10 best books of 2005. It also got the World Fantasy Award in 2006. And that's not the only quote from that book.
The stars are like the trees in the forest, alive and breathing, and they're watching us.
Kafka on the Shore tells two distinct stories that come together in an interwoven fashion. One is 15-year-old Kafka's story. He runs away from his father's home to escape an Oedipal curse and goes on a mission to find his mother and sister. The other is Nakata's story, someone who has uncanny abilities and has found part-time work in his old age as a finder of lost cats. And as well as Murakami's work, Sigma also gives a big nod once more, similar to other heroes, to Carl Sagan, the American astronomer, astrophysicist, cosmologist, astrobiologist, and much more besides. I believe Winston quotes him too.
By looking far out into space, we are also looking far back into time, back toward the horizon of the universe.
And before we head to the dance floor of Busan and a really bad pun from Sigma on Ilios, Sigma really likes his bad jokes and bad puns actually. Here is one final reflection on Horizon.
I never thought I'd be back here. It's beautiful and cold.
Alright, to the inevitable Busan dance floor, and a bit of a dad joke on Ilios after that.
Yeah. Come on now. Get down with Sigma tonight. Like a stroopwafel. This is all Greek to me.
So to finish off, a few of Sigma's general pieces of voice work, as well as some of his Dutch lines. Now, Boris Hiestand, Sigma's voice actor, has done a great job of balancing this kind of authoritative, kind of slightly kind voice of Sigma when he's talking normally, shall we say, and then also balancing that with the clearly tormented, under duress part of his consciousness, of his psyche, that clearly got hurt in his experiment gone wrong. I really like the breadth, the way that Sigma's lines go between him having a joke with Winston, saying, you know, he was smaller back then, as we heard earlier, talking and making jokes in other places, and then going to being very intense and sort of almost someone who you'd be very scared of as well. Sort of two sides of his personality there.
Not to be academic, but I believe that one would call this being on fire. Like the impression of a dying star. The mysteries of the universe are open to you now. Awareness is an important part of lab safety. One cannot escape an event horizon. The answers lie beyond our stars. That music, it's playing again. Oh, that's new. Can you do it again? Can you hear that music? The payload must move, or... No. It will move. It will. Oh, I see. What is that melody?
And last but not least, some of Sigma's Dutch lines, some of them are quite idiomatic. This means act normal, that's crazy enough.
Doe maar normaal, hè? Dan doe je al gek genoeg.
This is, if you can't handle criticism, don't criticize. Something quite wise there.
Wie boter op zijn hoofd heeft, moet uit de zon blijven.
This is apparently, I still had a score to settle with you.
Ik had nog een appeltje met je te schillen.
And this one apparently means the monkey is out of the bag.
Haha, nu komt de aap uit de mouw.
If you like this video, throw a like, subscribe, comment below and let me know what you think of Sigma's voice lines and interactions so far, as well as who you think some of those lines might be talking to and paired with in pre-game interactions. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've done heroes, voice lines, interactions and lore summaries for all of Overwatch's heroes and covered all of Overwatch's story and more in the playlists below, so do check those out. Thanks to my patrons on Patreon who have made so many of my videos just even possible over the last few years. If you'd like to see how you could support my channel from just $1, £1 or euro a month, do check out patreon.com/Hammeh. You can get behind the scenes content and updates there as well. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.